Let me ask you, just think about this for a minute. You ever feel out of place? Huh? What? Where do you feel out of place? With whom do you feel out of place? And how do you feel when you feel out of place? You ever been to the show or to a ball game and gone into the wrong restroom? Huh? You ever? You know what I mean? Huh? You ever? If you haven't, try it. Now that's feeling out of place. You know something? It's hard to use your potential when you're in the wrong restroom. You know what I mean? Huh? You don't know it. Try it. When you're out of place, it's rather difficult to stay there, isn't it? See, you could be in a hurry at an airport or a game or something like that and not pay attention to the signs and go into the wrong restroom. Jeez. Well, what makes you, how come you feel that way? See, you're out of your comfort zone. Remember that. What in the dickens is a comfort zone? Well, it's a term that I would like for you to really look at the world through and look at yourself through. Once you and I get recorded into the neuron structure of the cell of our brain, the kind of environment that we think we belong in, whether it be a city like you live in or lives in the country, or on the shore or in the mountains, whether there's black people, white people, mixture of, whether there's Oriental people or whether there isn't, whether there's old people or young people, whether it's clean, whether it's dirty. Everybody has an idea in their mind of the way the world should look. It's called an environmental self-image, or it's called, see, kind of a personal inside self-image. And every time you and I find ourselves in a situation or in a place that doesn't match our idea of how things should be, that's called being out of our comfort zone. Now let me explain to you what happens. You could talk very well to a friend seated. You know your subject, you know your information. Then you're asked to get up in front of 500 people and just say the same thing. You know what's going to happen? It's not going to come out very well for the most of us, right? Okay. Well, how come I can have the information inside of me and talk very well one-on-one, but you put me out of a normal situation for me and nothing comes out? That's because you're getting feedback through your senses, sight, taste, smell, touch, in some way. You're getting feedback through your senses that you're out of place for you. You're out of place for you. When you're out of place, it's just like being in the wrong restroom. Now, do you know something? You don't need to be in the wrong restroom to feel out of place. Just think you have to go there. You ever say, I don't want to go visit those people. I don't want to apply for that job. I don't want to go into that situation. And you come up with 100 valid reasons, which we call excuses, of why we shouldn't do it. But sometimes that's good because it keeps us in our place. But what if our comfort zone is women belong in the home and not in a job? And so now, when you are out looking and seeking for a job, you come off rather uncomfortable, like you don't belong there, like you're in the wrong restroom. Or there are certain kinds of jobs for women, They can't handle too much. You know how they are. If you've been raised that way and you have the opportunity and the potential to place yourself into a career path that formerly was held just by men, not only will you be out of place, but the men you get involved in that situation will feel out of their comfort zone with you there, and they will make life miserable for you. That can happen if you're black, or yellow, or white, or red, if you get into the wrong comfort zone. And that feedback really limits you and I from using the tremendous potential inside of ourselves. It isn't that we can't do it, that we don't have the potential. But when we sometimes put ourselves into a situation that's either out of our comfort zone or out of the comfort zone of other people, we get the negative feedback that tells us, get back where we belong. It doesn't say it to us like that. We start making excuses. We start finding reasons. You see what we do? Our self-talk goes wild on us. And not only does our self-talk go wild on us and tell us to get back where we belong, but we get physical feedback and emotional feedback that makes it almost impossible for us to do well. So remember now, whenever you and I are out of place, socially, you'll see even financially, environmentally, and by the way, being out of place means when you are doing better or worse. It doesn't mean that what you are is less than or worse than something that you're used to. It can be better than what you're used to, and the same thing will occur. Now watch. When you're out of place, me too, all of us, any human being, when we're out of place for us, our idea of where we belong, it shuts down our memory. When you're out of place, it affects memory. How many of you have ever been out of place taking a test in school? Or, you see what I'm saying? Or going for a job interview. You've been out of place? Now you could know the answers. You go in to take the test, and it shortens your memory. I mean, it shuts down your memory. You ever go out and water the garden and have somebody come up behind you and kink the hose? That's just like your memory sometimes. When you're out of your comfort zone, out of place, you shut down memory. So how do you act? Stupid. How does your test come out? Terrible. How'd your talk go? Crummy. How'd your interview go? Ridiculous. See? See what happens? So you could know it and have all the talent inside yourself, but when you are out of your comfort zone, it affects your memory, so you mess it up. Now what do you suppose your subconscious says the next time you perceive a situation like that? Remember, you perceive, you associate? Have I seen that face before? Uh-huh. How'd you do last time? Screwed it up. You want to go this time? Not me. In fact, I got too much to do at home. So you talk yourself out of going into a situation that you are out of your comfort zone in, even though you have the potential. You'll see later on with imagery, visualization, and internal goal setting, we're going to stretch that comfort zone so we can use more of our potential. You are very bright, you're very capable, but it happens to me and it happens to you. So you don't wake up in the morning and say, where can I make a fool of myself today? See, there it is, I'm going to go there. It's just the opposite. You start thinking about going someplace where you're going to make a fool of yourself, and your subconscious says, don't go. Now, okay, that's one. You know another thing that happens when you're out of your comfort zone? Your muscles tighten up in your whole body, but particularly you'll notice it in your voice. So other people know I'm out of my comfort zone. How come? Because when you're out of your comfort zone, it lengthens your vocal cords. Yes, I really look forward to speaking to you today. See? Your voice changes, and other people now know you're screwing up and don't think you belong. And so they start acting towards you like you don't have it, which screws up your confidence. See? You follow what I'm saying? You ever get into a situation where your voice, why do you think they have water for speakers? You know, they get to talk, it's told, their voice goes up on them and they got to keep drinking water so that they can pretend like they are supposed to belong there. You follow what I'm talking about? So now not only do you know you're out of place, but other people now know you don't belong there. Oh, and you ever hear about choking in athletics? Is that familiar when you say you choked up or something like that? Choking in athletics, your upper body tightens up when you're out of your comfort zone. And so when your upper body tightens up, it impedes the use of your skill. So David, for instance, in basketball or you're in tennis, okay? See, when you're out of your comfort zone, playing somebody better than you think in your mind, see, better, you're in competition bigger than you should be in, you can't use the skill that you could if you're just practicing or fooling around. See, it's like you know the talk and you can't give it. Well, in this case, you got the skill and you're a great competitor, but if you're out of your comfort zone, you tighten up and you mess things up, see? So So you can change that by visualizing and expanding where you think you belong in your own mind. We can stretch the comfort zone with internal goal setting and visualization. So we can't make you better than your skill, but you won't be worse. You follow? See, if you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the skill, you won't win anyway. But you see, but you've got it and you can't get it out. Or you won't let yourself play in that kind of competition, or you may have a coach that would say, I'll just use athletics again, might say, well, you know, we don't expect much of you this year. You're a rookie, you're young, oh. And all of a sudden now you really have the potential to go there, but because you believe that you don't belong there, you can't use your potential, nor could I. Because your body tightens up, particularly in your upper body, and your rib cage starts to close down on your lungs. See? Your muscles are all tight. See? So that's why people say, I've been under a lot of pressure lately. They're really describing how they feel in their upper body. See? Been under a lot of pressure lately. See? I've been uptight lately. That makes me uptight. You ever hear that same vernacular you run into? Uptight. What does that mean? It means my muscles in my upper back and my neck are getting so tight from me feeling out of my comfort zone. Then it impedes the flow of blood, so you start getting headaches. You ever get a headache? Pounding headache from that? Now, keep in mind, now here you are, your memory's gone, your voice is changing, now your rib cage is folding up on you, you're getting a pounding headache, and somebody says, hey, you want to go here where you don't know anybody? Are you kidding? Want to apply for this job? You want to go into this? Are you kidding? Your subconscious, hey, stupid, stay home where you belong. It does for you, it does for me, it does for human beings. When we're out of our comfort zone, that's what happens. You know what else happens? It increases the flow of digestive juice to your stomach. So when you're out of your comfort zone, or I'm out of my comfort zone, we get nauseated. You ever hear me say, you know what they say? This makes me sick in my stomach. You know, I really get butterflies when, you know, it makes me throw up to do that. Literally throw up. See, so when you're out of your comfort zone, you're getting feedback that you're out of place for you. Now that's worse or better. It's just the difference that makes the difference. Like going into the wrong restroom, your stomach goes going. So you say to yourself, this can't be right or I wouldn't feel this bad. You follow what I'm saying? And you have the potential to grow so much and do so much more. But if you don't stretch your self-image and grow and expand your belief system inside yourself, whenever you reach the outer limits of your comfort zone, you'll get that negative feedback and it'll tell you to go back where you belong. And you do it subconsciously. Like the bicep, tricep. Remember when you lift, how you pushed? You come up with all kinds of reasons why you should go back. And if you find yourself playing tennis and you're playing out of your comfort zone because you're doing better than you think you should, your subconscious says, don't worry, we'll correct, and you do worse. Then you do better, then you do worse. And if you're playing basketball and you're scoring too much for you, your subconscious says, don't worry, we'll just screw it up in the next quarter. And you can't put anything in. If your grades go better than you think you should and you're out of your comfort zone, watch. You can't get yourself to study for the next test, so you fail the next test, so that when you got the very good grade, it balances out with the crummy grade. You unconsciously are working to make sure you behave like you. And how did like you get in there? Well, it had a lot to do with what side of the track you were raised on, for one, because sometimes you just assimilate into yourself, this is the way the world is. And it had a lot to do with the guys you hang around with and the people you hang around with. It has a lot to do with the negative or positive wizards you were around. They've told you how you is. And every time you try to perform beyond that or go beyond that, you're going to get the feedback just like I'm talking about. And when you're out of your comfort zone, you start thinking negatively. You start thinking fearfully. You start thinking hopelessly. You start thinking, I got to go back where it's safe for me. You know where's safe for you? When this picture in here matches what you're looking at. When this picture of what's good enough matches what you're perceiving out here, then you'll feel relaxed. When you're out of place, you get the negative feedback, and it tells you, go back where you belong. You're out of place, my friend. You're out of place. Now, can you see what's going to limit you? What a gift. What a gift if, in fact, you could go new places, you could be in new things, and you wouldn't feel like throwing up? Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could let yourself go to so many places and never get the negative feedback that would allow you to expand and allow you to grow and allow you to learn? Wouldn't it be nice if, in fact, you could go into situations and be at your best? It will allow you to go. Because not only does your stomach secrete more digestive juice, but your knees get shaky, so you lose your balance. Your pulse rate goes up. Your blood pressure increases. And you want to know if you're out of your comfort zone? Shake hands with somebody. Your hands will be wringing wet. You start to sweat when you're out of your comfort zone. It's not cool for a girl to sweat too much when she's out on a date and out of her comfort zone. You know, or a guy. You know what I mean? But that's when you're out of your comfort zone. That's how the lie detector works. The polygraph. They attach electrodes to the surface of our skin, and when we lie, deviate from the truth as we know it, we short the machine out that quick. That's why it's hard to change. That's why it's hard to grow. Because in the old days, you'd force yourself away from your self-image, and if you could stay there long enough, get up in front of the class and talk often enough, you know, go on, really be brave and gut it out at something, that your image catches up. But that causes a lot of stress on you. So the way you're going to learn to stretch your comfort zone in the future is you're going to learn to image yourself safely into the next plateau, into the next level, into the next thing you want to do. You're going to image yourself into it over and over in your mind first. Then you're going to let yourself go after it. See, the old way was to throw yourself into it and then let your image catch up. You see what I'm saying? But what the whole new technique is, and it isn't new because people that were very effective, this is what they would do. Remember, I'm not teaching you anything I invented. What I'm sharing with you, how do those people do those things? How do they get themselves to do that, you wonder? Why aren't they throwing up? Well, there must be something wrong with me. I don't have the aptitude. See? And all that junk. See? When really all they did, they do it naturally. They just thought ahead and then got there. Thought ahead, then got there. But it isn't just thinking ahead. It's thinking ahead safely. Comfortably. See? Without the negative emotion. But you could look ahead and then get the negative emotion and you still wouldn't go. Does that make sense? So what you've got to be able to do is to visualize, mentalize, see, imagine yourself, imagine yourself in the right way, which we'll teach you, into the next level where now you feel out of place. You do it over and over and over until you've been there so many times in your mind that when you do go there, it'll be natural for you. And then you won't get the negative feedback, and you'll be able to be there and stay there. So when you learn to take yourself safely out of your comfort zone into the next plateau, you know what that's called? Adventure. Adventure. Now, would you rather have adventure in your life than throwing up all the time? See? Now, see, you look around yourself and you say, geez, look, I don't have it or I wouldn't feel this crummy. I wouldn't feel this bad. But everybody does when they're out of their comfort zone. Does that make sense? So all you need to do is learn how to stretch your comfort zone and then let yourself do what you're really capable of doing and learn what you're capable of learning. Meet people, travel, do things that are spectacular. Amazing, isn't it? Wouldn't that be a nice gift? Well, that's what we're going to give you. Now, how you use it is your own business. I don't care if you ever use it. But if you want to use it, you watch how easy it will be for you to really stretch and grow. You will amaze people. How do they do that? Now, in the United States one time, years ago, I took a group of young kids that I was coaching in football, American football. They were 14, 15, 16 years old. And we lived in Seattle, which is like living, say, on the West Coast, in Perth, I suppose. And I was going to take them all the way to New York, which is like going across to Sydney or Melbourne. And they were going to work out with the world champion football team. They were having a summer camp that they were conducting. Now, nobody ever did that. And so I had these kids stretch their comfort zone so when they got there, they wouldn't feel so out of place, they wouldn't learn. Because when you're out of place, you don't learn. You stand around, you back off, you won't ask questions. See? Everybody does. Adults, whoever. So what I had them do was use a technique that I might share with you later on. I call it a flick back, flick up technique. I had them visualize what it was like in their own school. then, or in their own lunchroom. Then I had them look ahead to New York to this camp where there'd be 300 other kids from New York, and those kids from New York can be very hostile, you know. I mean, they are some mean people. At least that was what we thought. See? When you're out of your comfort zone, everybody's mean, by the way. Do you know that? Everybody's out to get you. And so anyway, I had them say, how do you go when you go to the lunchroom? Oh, I say, oh, easy. I say, just go in the lunchroom and I just buy what I want to eat. Sit down, talk to people, have a good time. I said, okay. Now what you do is you practice in your mind being in your own lunchroom, and then I want you to just go all the way to New York and see yourself with those other people. So you go from here to here. I'll show you how to stretch in your mind. Then over and over. I said, if your car broke down and you asked your brother-in-law, how would you fix it? Yeah, I just go ask him, how do you fix it? I said, okay, now you're going to be with the best quarterback in the world in American football. I said, so you want to know how to pass? You just go, you see yourself talking to your brother-in-law in your mind. Now you do, you go see yourself talking to this person. So you flick back and you flick up, and you flick back and you flick up. You're really using what you've always used in your life. And I said in our school, if we asked for somebody to be out in front, you'd just step out in front, wouldn't you? To lead the drill, to run, to do this. Yeah, that's right. So why should it be any different in New York? See yourself in your own school and you stretch it there. Because understand, it's like being in the wrong restroom otherwise. So these kids went back to New York and they were working out. And there were I took 13 kids back. I think there were about 20